everyone. It's Rob Golfi here with REMAX, the Golfi team. I've got Conrad Zarini here, broker, owner of REMAX, Escarpment REMAX Niagara. He likes to keep a lot of secrets. He never tells me where he buys his clothes, his scarves, but I'll eventually find out. And we got Brian Hogben, Mission 35 Mortgages, and he's always got that scruffy look on his face. It looks good on him. So anyway, guys, listen. For the stats are out. I want to talk two things about mortgages and stats. Stats. Okay, guys, you were telling me, Conrad, the Hamilton area is Halton is down. How much?
About 30. I got down 37%. Niagara, same thing. And Hamilton's doing the best, only down about 17.5% or 9. Depends on how you're doing it, right?
And this is based on unit sales we're talking about.
Unit
right?
sales, yeah. All unit
sales.
sales, yes.
So this is it's crazy. Even like if you go year over year, I mean, a lot of the areas are down price wise. Okay, I get that. That's a year from year over year, but. What do you think is happening? Like, I mean, I think we bottomed out. We're bouncing up and down on the bottom of the ocean floor right now, basically with prices.
Yeah.
And so, what do you think it is the tariffs? Do you think it is the interest? Like, interest rates are coming down. There's uncertainty in the market. What the hell's going on out there?
Well, yeah, it was the uncertainty, and I think we've talked about it over and over again. But I will say this: that average price lower, it's because we've sold a ton of lower price product. You know it, Rob. You're doing it too. First-time buyers alive and well. They're out there and they're hustling and they're trying to get in the market. They're the smartest guys. It ain't the move-up guy. It's the first-time buyer that's the smartest person. It's a strategic buyer out there right now knowing I got to get in this market because, look, this tariff thing will only last. This Trump experiment, I feel, will only last a little while. He's going to hit plenty of headwinds. He's already hitting it now. When that thing is lifted and people think, oh my God, we're saved, you watch what happens to the market. And I think the first-time buyers are saying, this is my time to do it. I'm getting off the fence and I'm going to buy. And that's what we're seeing. And that's driving prices, average price down because we have a ton of stuff like first-time buyer inventory getting sold, and that's driving average price down.
And I agree with what Conrad's saying there too, because when we went back into January, pre-approvals were up 57% year over year. And that first-time home buyer now they're seeing a 5-year fixed mortgage with a 3 in front of it. And they're thinking like, okay, you know what? I can lock in for 5 years with a 3 in front of it right now, to Conrad's point. That's what I think the move-in market is right now. And in addition to that, they're savvy. They've been budgeting for years, right? They know how to budget. So I think they look at it. They're not as scared as the move-up buyer to get into this marketplace because they look at it. They know their finances. They've been looking at it for years, so they're comfortable pulling the trigger.
Yeah, you know what? I find timing right now, we're kind of like in a dormant stage. And I think if you're a buyer out there right now, is it timing wise for you to get into real estate? Like even though if nothing happens when you buy 6 months or a year later, but it will change. It will change. This is timing. You can go in, comfortably look at something, put your offer in, do your home inspection, do your research, do everything, and then sit and wait. Conrad, even when we look at the stats from the 90s, this is almost like the only difference is interest rates. The other difference is immigration. There is not as much immigration, but we're in a stagnant mode. I'll tell you.
Totally.
And things are going to change. I tell people, do not wait till everybody is going in and buying at the same time. That's where you're going to be competing. Now's the time. You sit tight. You enjoy it. You got to buy, hold, and wait. That's it.
But even for sellers, like I don't know if you saw my report this week, but this is the most efficient time to sell your home because it's less appointments. Less wear and tear, less having to keep it clean and the whole bit because these buyers are embracing now. They know the inventory well, and they're working with professionals. They're making those deals faster. We actually outsold our new listings, the highest in 6 years. The difference between listings and sales was 42 units. So we sold 42 more units than we listed. Okay, and this last week, the highest we've done it in 6 years. And the amount of showings per sale is low. So this is the most efficient time I've ever seen in my history if you were going to go sell your house. as a matter of fact. So you're not going to be wear and tear. And if you got a great unicorn house, and I will tell you this, I know it's a lot at the lower end, but I will say this, we've seen some phenomenal unicorn sales. That really beautiful properties that finally come on the market. Everybody rushes in. Like we're seeing, even in the 2 million, 3 million mark, 22 showings in a weekend. That shows you there's so much pent up demand out there that people are wanting to buy it. When they find that place, they're going to pull the trigger because they feel good. To Brian's point, if it's got a 3 in front of it now, like, look, I want to make a t-shirt. I did it. I got a 3 in front of it. Right? Because what? Like, what is that? Like, look, we know it's not going to go to 2, 3, 3-ish. No. Come on. They'll all tell everybody my mortgage is in the 3s. That's a bragging point. So all that emotion, all that strategy is all playing.
But 50, 60 years ago, getting a mortgage even at 6% was huge. Like people locked in and they thought that was great. Now for us at 6%, that's not
crying.
I guess people are,
Well, that was the peak of the market too. Like I was looking at it, like it took 16 months to get to the peak of the market. We saw rates go up March 2022. They went up 5 bangers, 5 points in 16 months.
Yeah.
Now in 10 months, we've gone down almost half, 2.25%. So it's gone up, come back down half the way, right? If we see another 1/4 point drop, that's half the distance that we traveled.
So do you think there'll be another 1/4 point next month?
You know what? Right now,
this month.
It's this month. It's April 16th. It's a 60-40 right now. 60% chance they stay, 40%. But here's the thing. Like I remember us talking about this. A number comes out, all of a sudden, bang, we got a drop. Right? The market expectations change with information so bloody quickly right now. But here's the big thing. The discount off prime, what people need to remember on the variable rate, those banks, they're shrinking the discount. 60 days ago, you could get a mortgage at prime -1. Today, that'd be 3.95. Today, the discount is prime -70. So you're 4.95. So prime rate is going down, but the discount that the bank is passing along to the consumer is shrinking, right?
Totally.
So the variable is not like it's still, some people like it, but it's getting less attractive as rates continue to drop.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. And gas prices come into the inflation numbers, and that's the other thing. So you got to look at that number. Like if you're thinking of if they're going to do anything with rates or pause, if the inflation number comes down or if it inches up, because it was up the last time it was reported, you'll see what they'll do. Like to Brian's point, it's week to week, and it's numbers to numbers. Nothing's happened with unemployment in the U.S. or in Canada for that matter. So that number's really kind of holding. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. I say they pause.
Yeah,
until this
I think they will.
And I think they will. If they do pause, to that point, Conrad, too, if they do pause, that might actually spur more people to get into the market who've been fencing, because now everybody waits for the bottom, right? And if we see that first pause over the course of the past almost year, it's like, well, now I'm at the bottom. Now's the time to do it. So then you'll probably see more and more people jump into the market at that point.
Wow. Anyway, there was an article in the Toronto Star. Banks are more likely to deny mortgages for workers threatened by Trump's tariffs, brokers warn. Brian, is that true? If some guy works for, is it like, let's say some guy works for Stelco. I don't even know what they call it anymore. If it's still Stelco or Arcelor.
No,
that's Dofasco.
Dofasco.
Yeah.
So some guy comes in, they work for that industry.
So they haven't sort of like blacklisted to say, no, we will not lend to this industry or this person. But what they're saying is what you're noticing is they're less likely to get any type of exception, right? So let's say, for example, the debt service ratio needs to be 40% and it's at 40.5, 0 exception, right? Let's say the credit score needs to be 680, which is a reasonable credit score, and the credit score is 675. Nope, not going to do it, right?
Wow.
Whereas, that would be a very reasonable exception. Or you're seeing the internal risk departments tighten the screws a little bit, where they'll be like, you know what? Doesn't quite fit the guideline. You want 80% loan to value? We'll give you 75% loan to value. So, BMO was the first bank. It's been publicized now that they came out that they were restricting and sort of tightening here. The other banks in their internal risk departments, same thing. They're going to scrutinize these deals more, less likely to get the exception if you're in an affected industry.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, I was going to say BMO though. BMO did a lot of lending to the trucking industry. Okay,
right.
so
they're going to feel it.
So you got to remember they got these little bundles, and when they start to look at their numbers, and they have a lot of money in let's say trucking, or they have a lot of money in real estate and finance. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. They're going to look at that and say, hey, wait a minute. We have too much in this, and they do it commercially all the time. When that threshold gets full and there's risk, there's spillover effect. So it's going to hit consumers in the same industry. That's how they run their businesses.
And Conrad's totally right. Banks get different tranches of money, right?
Yes.
And that's why it's so important to work with a mortgage broker, especially these days, because if a bank comes across like a fraud investigation, like, CIBC did once upon a time and some other banks did too, all of a sudden money supply needs to be restricted, risk policies get tightened, rates go up because they know when rates are up, they're going to lend less money. And then TD might have a tranche of cheaper money, or Scotia or CIBC or BMO. So, and this changes constantly, right? And this is the thing people need to remember, is that different banks have different money supplies with different risk appetites at different times, right?
Yeah.
So even if banks have the same policies across the board, they're going to have different appetites at different times.
Yeah.
So
if they're seeing retail go down, if they're seeing retail and they're seeing some, closures of retail operations, they're going to look at retail workers. It's just, that's the way it goes. Goes from one silo to the other, right? So,
so they do it. And I remember, and I wasn't a realtor at the time, but in the 90s when that recession hit, the banks were taking away the line of credits from realtors back then.
Yeah, you're right.
They. I remember somebody telling me that they didn't even touch their line of credit, but boom, lost it without even using it, just because they just figured that the way the housing market was going on in the 90s, they just shut everybody. I mean, things were different times back then. I mean,
completely
over the decades, but yeah, like it's insane how that these banks, they look at different industries, different things. And isn't it funny that an employer could have a hard time getting a mortgage, but his employee can get a mortgage easier than an employer? What the hell is that about?
That it's been like that since I've been in the business. It's something that doesn't make sense, right? Like it's so true though, I could have 10 employees. No problem. Here's a letter of employment. Here's a pay stub. But try to get Brian a mortgage. I don't know.
I wouldn't trust Brian anywhere.
No way.
Come on.
Exactly.
With abs like Brian has, who's going to trust that guy?
I don't know. The 6-pack went to a 4-pack lately, coming back from Mexico. Just saying.
I'm trying to get that 6-pack. I'm trying to do my 24-hour intermittent fasting. It gets tough around 2 o'clock.
24 hours.
I do, yeah. So about at least 4 days a week, I will do a 24-hour fast. So basically, I'll eat at 5 o'clock today, and I won't eat till 5 o'clock the next day.
That's why Rob's so grumpy at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, right?
That's it. I'm drinking water, coffee. I'm I'm looking for. I'll eat anything at that time. Oh my God. I see people as food out there, but guys, okay. Question. Now, on the poll, I'm just going to go quick on this. Not too long. Now, they're showing that Carney is the prime minister. They're doing an election at the end of the month, and they're showing he's leading. Is that real true? What the hell changed? Are people forgetting about what happened to Trudeau? What's going on?
Yeah, I think it was a game changer. I don't know. It's funny because back in April, I wrote in my blog. I said Carney's waiting in the wings, and sure enough, he was. Yeah, I think Canadians are looking for somebody that can negotiate and deal with Trump. And, I think that trip was monumental that he went out to, UK and France. I think that turned the tide for him. And people are saying, you can hear it. You can hear people being interviewed saying, you know what, I want somebody that's going to have, he's got people in his Rolodex on his, the old days of a Rolodex. He's got people's cell phone numbers and he can call them up. And I think that's what people are looking for. They're looking for somebody with that. So
Well,
I don't care if it's liberal or not. Yeah, it's interesting times.
It's just that I just been seeing little bits and pieces.
Oh yeah,
and I just like what a changeover. And
oh yeah.
Honestly, I don't follow it, but I just saw that he's leading in the polls. I'm curious to find out what's going to happen when
they're talking majority. Like they're talking. Wow. He's in majority territory, which is unheard of because Trudeau, didn't have majority in the last election. So it's a shocker. But I think Canadians want a strategist, and if you look at the resume of each of the two, he's got a good
resume. He definitely has a good resume.
You can't beat it. I think Poilievre made a mistake. He should have talked about his team and about the bench strength he had with the team of MPs. And that's the other thing. People are worried. Who are these MPs that Poilievre has that are gonna run ministries if they get elected? Do they have any experience? Who are they? What are they? That's the problem.
Who was the premier of Ontario about 10 years ago? What's his name?
Mike Harris? No, he was 95.
No, not that.
Dalton McGuinty. Dalton McGuinty.
McGuinty. He had a great campaign.
Yeah.
So, you know what? I'm going to tell you something because didn't he had a lot of bad press and then
terrible. He had terrible press.
And that they should follow his playbook on a campaign and the guy wins
Oh, yeah, terrible. Lots of baggage.
Oh, big time. Guys, I got to tell you guys, thanks for being on, and we'll see you next week, and have a great weekend and a great weekend. And we'll chat and see what's going on in the market again next week.
Yes.
Take care, guys. Thanks a
Take
lot.
it easy.